This is John Martinka. Welcome to the Getting the Deal Done podcast. My guest today is Mitch Francis, the author of Badass Solutions. Mitch is a serial entrepreneur. He's an inventor. He'll talk a little bit about his patents, his book, what he's done in business, and to help others in this world. So, welcome, Mitch.
Thanks, John. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah. So, let's start out with serial entrepreneur. Talk a little bit about your business background. Um, I noticed on your website you grew up in Denver.
I did.
And,
I did, which means I'm a skier.
hmm
It was actually a big part of my life. I actually was on Vail's ski team. I taught skiing on weekends and holidays while I was at the University of Colorado in Boulder. I was a real estate major. At that time, there were very few, only a couple major universities in the US that had a real estate major. So I did that, and as I said, I taught on the weekends and holidays, and did my studying on a chairlift. If you believe that one, we can we can delve in
Yeah.
more. But ended up after school going to Los Angeles, and I began, which is where I live now, and I began as a commercial real estate broker. And it was interesting, John. I was very successful very quickly. I closed three transactions in a very short period of time. And in those days, we had a secretarial pool who, created contracts and offers and things like that. And there was one of these wonderful women was congratulating me. And I was kind of humble and I said, I was just in the right place at the right time. And she got angry at me and she said, no, that's not it. And it really took me aback. And I said, what are you talking about? She said, it's not just being in the right place at the right time. It's knowing that you are. And I was stunned. Even to this day, I think that was the most intelligent thing that anybody ever said to me. It's knowing that you are. And it's kind of interesting, and it's played out over 40 years that, we're all like standing in a river with fish going by, and the fish are opportunities. And there are opportunities passing all of us, but some of them really have our name on it, with our skill set, our ability to see that it's an opportunity and take it and make it happen. And I've done that many times throughout my career. And it's always been kind of funny to me and interesting to me that has always been in the back of my mind. It's knowing that you're in the right place at the right time and take advantage of it. So that's what I've done. I've been the founder and CEO of several publicly traded companies, of private companies. I've built commercial real estate. I own commercial real estate throughout the U.S. and manage it today. So I do have a pretty extensive business background.
Okay. Now we were talking before, uh, about all this and your ticket business.
Hmm.
That's an interesting story about seeing opportunity. Talk to us about your ticket business.
That ties in really well to the opportunity discussion. Um, So I had a business that did 3D motion simulator attractions. And our flagship store was in Las Vegas. And we owned and operated these facilities throughout the US. And as a little side trip, I was aware of a ticket booth in the middle of Times Square that sold discount tickets for that night's plays that had empty seats.
Mhm.
And I was even, as a customer, and it was incredible. And when they open at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, every day there's a line down the street, 2 to 3 blocks long. And I was just stunned as a customer. And I waited in that line, by the way. Uh, so, years later, I was in Las Vegas, working on our 3D motion simulator attraction, and we sold tickets. And at one point I said to my marketing team, I said, why don't we try selling tickets at the half price booth? And they all had this blank look on their face and they said, there isn't one. I was stunned. So here's like this amazing opportunity. I knew of this business from New York, and just instantly I said, there must be that same business here in Las Vegas. It's just a almost mirror model of what you have in New York. And I spent a couple of months actually looking into this to see, well, why hasn't this been done? Is there some barrier to entry? Is there a local ordinance? Do the hotels not agree with it? Do the producers not allow it? And there was no barrier. And the simple fact came down, John, that nobody had ever done it. Nobody ever tried to do it. And this is what I was talking about seeing opportunities and, that go by everybody, but this one spoke to me. And we had expertise in selling our own tickets. So this was a great opportunity to grab. And we did. And it was a very difficult thing to pull off. It took me 2 years just to get 12 shows to try this discount ticket booth. They were actually worried that we were going to impact their full price ticket sales. So I got 12 shows to just try this. And my solution to that was, listen, try it once. If you don't have to sign any contract. If it doesn't work for you, don't use this again. Well, it was incredible. We opened the doors, John, and just like in New York, we literally had a line the first day down the block. I was just stunned. And at the time, there were about 60 shows. We had 12 shows try it, and they never stopped. What they found was what we postulated too, is we were adding to the number of people going to shows. So somebody who didn't want to spend, the money for a full price ticket decided to go to a show if they could get it at a discount.
Hmm.
So we're adding to the number of people going to shows. We increased the profitability for producers tremendously. And over the years, we became the number one ticket broker in Las Vegas. We ultimately sold over $1 billion of show tickets, attractions, tours, dining. It was an incredibly successful business.
And you sold the business.
Yeah, the business ultimately was purchased by some hedge funds, and that was about 3 years ago.
Okay, cool. Great story. Uh, you talk about in business roadblocks, and obviously you
Mm,
had roadblocks to that. One big one being, well, we've never done this before.
right.
What are some more typical roadblocks you've seen in business that others could learn from overcoming?
Well, it just doesn't end. John, it seems like it's every damn day. Everybody in business has a goal. And on the steps toward that goal, they have roadblocks thrown in their way. As I said, it seems like every day. And we have to figure out how to get over, around them, through them, under them to reach our goal. And it can be everything from, developing a project and having a local homeowners association who likes the project, but they don't want to approve it. And they don't want to approve it because, they think that it might add to the congestion, the traffic congestion in the area. But you've got reports that says it doesn't, and that the traffic congestion will be absorbed. So it's managing that. It's figuring out how to solve that problem, how to let that local homeowners association understand that you're going to be a benefit to the community. And it's this kind of problem solving that I was able to develop, and I'm sure, listen, every successful business person develops extreme problem solving skills. And I looked around. We had a family tragedy a little over 2 years ago. There was you may remember there was a mass killing in an outskirt suburb of Chicago during a Fourth of July parade.
Yep.
And there was a crazed young man with assault rifles, and he killed 7 people, wounded many more. And one of the people that he killed was my brother-in-law's brother. And this was just the greatest guy. And beside, listen, the family obviously was just completely devastated, and I was hurt by it, and I found that I was angry. And I came back home, and I was looking at this, and I was seeing all of these major problems in our country of the violence, the mass killings, immigration, abortion, things with the stock, problems with the stock market, the deficit, all of these really major problems. And I looked at this and I thought, I'm kind of a news guy, and when these things come up, I always go, well, why don't they just do this? And I decided to just write an outline. And I did an outline that turned into 20 major problems. And I had at least the beginnings of solutions for them. And I said, this is a book. And that's where Badass Solutions came from. And what I was able to do is apply the same process of problem solving that I used in business toward solving societal problems. And it worked. And I've been getting a very good response to the book, John, that it's actually been an Amazon #1 bestseller. So I've been getting a very good response, and people getting excited about the optimism. So much of what we hear is sorry, pessimistic about the problems that we have, and nobody's got solutions. And what I find is there are solutions. There are really good, actionable, doable, immediate solutions for our problems.
Definitely agree. And your talk about roadblocks, and
Hmm.
every business has them. People have them individually in their personal
Right.
lives, and the problem solving, and sometimes and seeing opportunities. But often we don't see the roadblocks either, and
Mm,
we don't. I think my opinion is we don't see the opportunities and we don't see the roadblocks because we're so close to things. And
that's interesting.
when
Yeah.
you're really when you're concentrating on the day to day,
Hmm.
it's really tough. So, my company, we work with people in the buy sell world, M&A, and
Mm,
you see that, and you talk to people who want to buy a company, and whether it's a professional buyers, but more like an individual who has raised some money, has some money, wants a company of their own, and you ask them what they want to do, and the answer better be, I want to work on strategy and vision and growth and solving problems, not
hmm.
I want the widget business because I like widgets, or they're not going to be successful in business. It is
That's
exactly
right.
what you're saying. These things are all around us.
Mhm. No, no, good point. And you're right. You have to define what you're willing to put up with
Yeah,
to reach your goals, because you're going to have problems. You're going to have big ass problems. And you've got to be strong and keep that goal in sight, and develop these problem solving skills. And it's kind of interesting. I found that uh, problem solving skills for me really were pretty much the same methodology that I use in negotiations or even in sales. And it begins with understanding what the goal is, and then finding out. I do research. I find out, well, what are the specifics here? Why, what does this client need about my product? And what are his objections or hers? And what is it that they're trying to accomplish with their business? How does my product answer their needs? What are their actual objections? I ask.
yeah,
And then I start playing what if. Well, what if we do this? Well, what if we do that? And God, that was dumb, but let's stay on track and find what actually will work. And it incredibly leads me down a successful path of solving the problem or the negotiation point or even the sale.
yeah. You're, I get it. What you're saying. People usually have some inkling of what the problem is. Somewhere in their head, they most likely know the answer. but they haven't connected the two. And like you said, asking questions. When you start asking questions, and then they go, ah, yeah, that, or this other thing. And you're right. Why don't we try it?
Right. No, it works. It works, particularly in understanding what you're trying to accomplish and also what the other side is trying to accomplish.
That's right. So we've got a few more minutes left, Mitch, and you talk about big problems in your book, and we
Hmm.
know that big problems. Be, some people will look at it and say, "Oh, that's overwhelming," and then there's small problems. Small problems, though, to you or me, or someone who's barely scraping by,
Hmm.
are big problems to them.
Of course.
And talk about that type of thing. Getting people over the hump on some of these small things. And, a big problem would be homelessness, but someone who's worrying, will I be able to put enough food on the table at the end of the month, also has,
Mhm. Well, those are very different.
yeah,
Your own personal problems and finding solutions to them, are, as you were saying, they're so big and so personal and emotional, as opposed to, more of a large societal problem where, it's not affecting, the food on your table for your family.
yeah,
And they're extremely different. So solving problems for from a personal level, there are so many sources of help, for everything that you need, from your finances to helping your kids in school, to understanding what they need to develop in school for skills, what you need to better your life. And I think that is, on a, personal problem. I would say the answer is seek help because there are people who can really, get you over that hump and be encouraging and help you with that perspective that you said you get too close to. Now, on the bigger societal problems, um, I hope that people get excited about my some of my solutions to the big problems. And they get so interested that they want to be involved. There's kind of an overriding theme of my book. I'm really into quotes. And Mahatma Gandhi said, when the people lead, the leaders will follow. So it gives me this push for people. If you believe in my solution for immigration or changing the stock market or paying off the entire US debt, you can get involved. You can tell other people. You can write to your representatives. They work for us. You can join organizations and get involved. And it's something that's really important to me that I'm really hopeful happens is from the book that there are exciting solutions that if we get a groundswell can make a lot of change and help a lot of people. The I was very lucky. The author of Chicken Soup for the Soul uh, read my book prior to publication, and his name is Jack Canfield, and he wrote the foreword to my book. I was just shocked because it was such an honor, and he wrote something so wonderful of if people get behind some of these solutions, it could actually change the world and help millions of people. So that's kind of pie in the sky, but let's just help one at a time, and I think we can get there.
yeah. And if you bring that down a bit, and you look at today's environment, and I think, and a lot of people think the economy's in pretty good shape. But if you've got a husband and wife and they're both working, a decent middle class job, and they got two or three kids, but the price of their groceries has gone up 50% in the last 5 years,
Sure.
uh, and their kids are getting to be teenagers and even eating more adds to it. They see the economy a lot differently,
Oh
and
yeah.
that affects the big problems. And I also, that's the same thing, and that may affect what they do at work. And you talk about from the bottom up, at work, at a job, the A lot of times the staff have the best ideas.
Oh, sure. Yeah. They're in the trenches.
Yep.
They see what is not working from the product end. They see what the demand is from the customer end. Oh, I totally agree with you.
I've seen a lot of business buyers go into a company and the first thing they do, these are smart buyers,
Mhm.
they ask the key employees, what's being done well? What could we do better? What ideas do you have? Because usually a lot of owners, and I'm in the lower middle market, so these are not investment banker type deals. Uh, you're right, they're seeing everything, and they're seeing an owner who says, "No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that."
Mm.
Yeah. So
No,
let's finish up. One thing we haven't
it's a
talked
really
about.
good point. I think that's a smart buyer for sure.
You're an inventor.
Hmm.
7 patents.
Right.
Let's finish up talking about that. That's pretty exciting.
Well, thanks. Actually, it's interesting. Four of them actually covered businesses we've already talked about. So, in the 3D motion simulator attractions, I actually have the United States patent on 3D motion simulator rides that conform to what we utilize. We utilized military quality flight simulators for our motion systems, and then created 3D films to be shown in this theater that actually moved in coordination with what you're seeing on the screen. And then for the ticket business, I actually patented the process of doing discount ticket brokerage through in the way we structured it, and did it with the producers. So I was awarded those different. There were two different patents also for premium ticket sales, and now over the past probably 9 months, I've been awarded three new patents for new products that I've invented that shortly I'm going to be creating a new business around them and have them manufactured and sell. They're all uh, public uh, public process uses.
Okay. So you truly are a serial entrepreneur. I said we'd finish up with that, but let me finish. Let me say I misspoke. I'm going to finish up by asking, you've just talked about these 3 new products, but what else is going to come up in your life?
My plate is pretty is pretty full right now. I think the thing that's really going on mostly in my life is the book, the Badass Solutions. Uh, I'm trying to get the word out in and get people to read it, and then hopefully do something about it so that we can all do our bit about changing the world. So that's what I'm keying on right now. I've got topics for another book to follow up with this one. But if I don't reach a critical mass, John, with this book, then I won't do another one. But
Yeah.
that's what's taking my time right now.
Okay. Well, Mitch, thank you for being here. Mitch Francis, let's see, serial entrepreneur, uh, inventor, author, speaker. You do have a lot going on, and I thank you for being on Getting the Deal Done podcast.
Well, I really appreciate you having me. Thanks so much.
And what's the best way for people to reach you?
Oh, yeah, thanks for that. The book is available on, wherever books are sold. It's really easy on Amazon. It's Badass Solutions with
Yep.
or without a hyphen. The website is bad-ass solutions.com. It tells a lot about the book and a lot of the ideas that we're working on. And there's a way to reach me by email through the website.
Okay. Well, thanks for being on. Sounds like your book is an interesting read, and all the best to you.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much, John.